Testing, check, check. Hello, today, welcome to Ninja Robot Studio Stream. Today, we are Undertale. Yet, what we're studying today is branching narrative. This is a stream where I play video games and UX VR experiences, talking about them from the UX designer's perspective. This game development has a very heavy and direct influence VR development, XR development, so we want to learn what we can from video games because it's an established industry. It's been out there for ages, and it is the same process and principles that you use for regular gaming that you translate over into XR with some extra stuff, of course, because it's immersive, it's 3D, and so forth. So it's going to be different than looking at a 2D screen. So we're studying video games and VR experiences. Today we're studying a 2D video game. But I go by genre. So first, I've done tabletop RPGs, I've done VR training, also done platformer puzzle games. Now I'm doing branching narrative starting today. And so, what is branching narrative? Branching narrative is a great article to learn more about it. So let me put that in the chat. But this is a article that explains what is branching narrative. And there are different types of branching narrative. This is an art in itself. It is a form of writing, game writing, and which is its own art. So you don't think that you can just pick it up in a couple of days. It's its own thing, its own skill. And it's a form of storytelling. So you've got different types of storytelling. What you're used to seeing in a video, in a movie or something, is a linear story progression where you've got your start, your problem, your struggle, however it's out. That's very linear, and a lot of games play this way, which is fine. This is fine, depending on the game. But then there are all of these what's called branching narrative, and this could give the player, the benefit is that it gives the player more freedom with the game, make choices. Whether or not those choices affect the ending is up to how you write branching narrative. So some branching narrative there's still a start and an end that is pretty much the same, but how you get there could vary. And then there's different types of branching narrative that you can go through, but the one that we're playing today, Undertale, is a map of many endings. So you can, depending on the choices that you make in this game, will change the end. And we're going to be playing through a few different games, and they're going to be, we'll figure out, because I haven't played some of them, which of these they fit in. But the one that we're playing today, I haven't played it yet, but I've looked up how it works. Your choices matter and depends on how the game is. You can play a pacifist mode where you don't fight anyone and you try to be friends with everyone, which will affect the ending. Versus if you go on a murder hobo rage, then that's going to affect the ending. how the game turns out. So your choices really matter in the story of the game that we're playing today. And we probably won't get through the whole thing because I don't know how long this game takes, especially not being able to go down all. There's 3 paths in this one, but going down all the different possible routes. Yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So we're going to be studying all these different types of branching narrative and think about for how would this apply to you if you were creating a video game or a VR experience, regardless of whether it's a game for entertainment or a serious game, or like my background is VR training with consequences, so safety consequences. So depending on the choices you make, you can die, or you live, or you can get injured. So branching narrative is how we achieve that. So that is giving the player more freedom of how they play, which can be a little more interesting than just linear story game where I've played those before. They're more like visual novels. If you like story for story's sake, then that's great. But if you to make a decision, want to make decisions, it's like I would never choose that. I hate when I have a choice that's similar to what I would make, because it kind of story for me. It hurts my because do that. I wouldn't reply this way. Why are you giving this? Why is this my only choice? But anyway, whatever. Role playing has an bad shit. But anyway, that's what we're doing today. Learning branching narrative, and we are talking through the game from a UX design skill. So that means we're going to go through based on the pillars of gaming UX, and I'll put those up yet. Nope, I haven't. I'll add them to the chat. And that if you want to learn more about the pillars of gaming UX, they are based on the book by Celia Hodent, Gamer's Brain, and they are talking about usability and engageability video game. And so if you want to learn more about those, you can check out that video later. This one, and then once we play through part of the game, again, we probably won't make it through the whole game, but we are going to do what's called a roast on what exercise, where we talk about what's good about this, what's not so good about this, and what would we do about it if it were if we were making this project ours. And then if we were thinking about this from an XR standpoint, which is the whole point, is how would we translate this in XR? What would we need to think about based on what we're playing today? That is the plan, and let me get the game up and going. So that we can So first off, one of the first things that we notice is when you launch this game, I'm playing on the Steam version. Undertale. I'm playing the Steam version, and this is it is paid, but into it. It is available on multiple platforms, so not just Steam. It's also available. Let's see, available on Twitch, PC, PS4, Vita, and Xbox. So you have lots of choices for how you play it. But is the website this game? Your choices matter in the outcome. So you don't have to kill anyone if you don't want to kill anyone. Each enemy can be defeated non-violently. You can dance with slimes, pet a dog, whisper your favorite secret to a knight, or ignore this and rain destruction on you. So you have a choice. And so that will affect the outcome. So this just talks about the mechanics. Emphasis is on humor, character dialogue, and player choice. So the average playtime is 6 hours, so we're not going to get through and that's probably just one branch. So if we wanted to go figure out all the different endings, then we would have to multiply that to however many endings. I think there are 3 based on IGN. There seems to be 3. The IGN walkthrough if you want to study deconstruct this game, IGN would be a great place to do it because they have walkthroughs. But that'll help you decide which choice goes what if you want to deconstruct and study the narrative of this one. So, who knows, you may let it too. It was recommended to me by a friend, so we're gonna check it out. This is, as you can see, a pixel game, a very old style. If you open it up in the browser, in the Steam, the window is very tiny. I've actually enlarged it for you, but in the game view here, it's very small. And it plays this intro as soon as you load the game. So I don't know if they replay this story later, but first off, starting out, seeing it immediately start playing the story, I can't stop it. I can't rewind. So if I want to watch it, I didn't know this at first, but I've left it open so that we can see it, and hear the music, is that it'll stop and play again. But I don't have any control over stopping it and playing again, which is something that I would say is not a thing that I would want. Now it's starting over. I would want to be able to start it myself. So if we just sit here and don't press enter, now we have the option of pressing enter and starting the game, but I want to watch the beginning again so that we can see it. So I'm gonna not respond, and now it'll play. Long ago, 2 races ruled over Earth, humans and monsters. One day, war broke out between the 2 races. After a long battle, the humans were victorious. They sealed the monsters underground with a magic spell. Many years later, Mount Ebott, year 20-something. Legends say that those who climb the mountain never return. Now we just have a video sequence. Someone is climbing the mountain and they trip on a root, and now they're falling down into a hole. Flat. Seems like soft ground, and there is a cave tunnel, and they are deep underground. Pillars fallen quite a distance. And now we can. This is not a mouse game. It seems to be keyboard only, at least on the PC. I'm going to press enter, and I can use my arrows to move down to begin the game, or change my settings. So, and it's giving me the instructions. Z or enter confirm, X or shift to cancel. I really hope they have tooltips, because I'm not going to remember all this once we get in the game. F4. Oh, we can do full screen. What happens? Excellent. Okay, let me fix that for y'all. I had sized it for, but we can. See the settings. So I can change my language. Ooh, I can put it in Japanese, Nihongo, and English. That's it. Oh, I'm gonna use a joystick. Okay, so because PlayStation and stuff. Let me see if my joystick works. Yes, 5 controller hooked up. Yes, it does. Direction choice normal, reset to default, control test, um, sensitivity. Okay, we can use our um, joystick, left joystick to move down, or we can use our D-pad to move down. The right isn't doing anything, just the left. And if I hit exit, I hit my X on my PlayStation, it goes back to exit. Okay. Exit here and begin the game. So we can do either, and this is very old school. So it's only giving instruction on the PC version of keyboard though. So it knows that I have a controller here, but it's not showing me controller shortcuts. I had to guess them based on what I would expect to happen with PlayStation controller in America, because it's different in Asia. Um, so so now I'm having to guess. Um, let's begin the name. Give it a name. Name the following human. I actually have a list of mispronounced names that are mine, but we're going to go with, okay, I'm going to go with this. Lisa. Marisa. That's my Japanese pronunciation. Use the arrows to go down. Good, done. Yeah, sure. My name. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I can move. And I guess I choose where I go. Howdy, I'm Flowey. Flower the flower. So it's at least letting me auto progress from here, or manually progress. It can be frustrating when you have to wait for auto progress, because sometimes, depending on your concentration and distraction, you can miss a lot of dialogue. You're new to the underground, aren't you? Golly, you must be so confused. Someone ought to teach you how things work around here. I guess little old me will have to do. Ready? Here we go. I'm just hitting enter, manually progressing. See that heart? That's your soul, the very accumulation of your being. Move it. Okay, that's excellent. Your soul starts off weak, but can grow strong if you gain a lot of LV. So I guess that's your level. Oh, love. Okay, never mind. It stands for love. Of course. You want some love, don't you? Don't worry. I'll share some love. Thank you. Down here, love is shared through little white friendliness pellets. Get ready. Move around. Get as many as you can. Ah! What? You idiot. In this world, it's kill or be killed. Why would anyone pass up an opportunity like this? Okay. God. No. What am I supposed to do? Okay. What a terrible creature, torturing such a poor innocent youth. Don't be afraid, my child. I'm Toriel, caretaker of the ruins. I pass through this place every day to see if anyone has fallen down. You are the first human to come here in a long time. Come, I will guide you through the catacombs. Again, I'm just hitting enter to progress, which I really appreciate that they're doing a manual progress instead of auto progress, because I read at different speed than other people, and if I get distracted by something going on in the real world, this is really a big deal for VR, is you're going to miss some stuff. So this at least lets you manually progress at your own pace. This way. Okay, I'm following them with the arrow key. Okay. Still following. Supposed to do something? Oh, okay. Welcome to your new home, innocent one. This is making me nervous. Allow me to educate you in the operation of the ruins. Ruins are full of puzzles. Ancient fusions between diversions and door keys. One must solve them to move from room to room. Please adjust yourself to the side of them. Okay. To make progress here, you'll need to trigger several switches. Don't worry, I've labeled the ones that you need to flip. Okay, please press this switch too. What about that one? I'm proud of you, little one. What am I doing? Let's move to the next room. What about that switch? What if I want to switch that one? As a human living in the underground, monsters may attack you. You will need to be prepared for this situation. I need to know what the switches do. You will need to be prepared for this situation. However, worry not. The process is simple. When you encounter a monster, you will enter a fight. While you're in a fight, strike up a friendly conversation. Call for time. I will come to resolve the conflict. Practice talking to the dummy. AI. Okay, I encountered the dummy. What am I doing here? Act. I'm hitting enter. Talk. I'm using my arrows to move the options. You talk to the dummy. It doesn't seem much for conversation. Oriole seems happy with you. You won. You earned 0 XP and 0 gold. So do you not earn XP unless you kill things? Huh? There's another puzzle in this room. I wonder if you can solve it. Frogget attacks you. Don't have anything. I doubt I have anything. Compliment the frog. That was flattered anyway. I'm going the passive route. I'm going to try not to fight anything. You won. You earned 0 XP and 0 gold. Okay. Is this a puzzle? Uh-oh. What am I supposed to do here? The western room is the eastern room's blueprint. Huh? What am I supposed to do? What, like this? This blueprint? I don't remember it. What am I supposed to do? This is the puzzle. Okay, I just hit enter when I got up to him. Here, take my hand for a moment. So it is. It is that pattern. I just don't remember the pattern unless I draw it. I would draw it. I would have to draw it. And then, even then, I don't remember. It wasn't clear on how many squares. Puzzles seem a little too dangerous for now. You've done excellently thus far, my child. However, I have a difficult request to ask of you. I would like you to walk to the end of the room by yourself. Forgive me for this. Probably another pattern. Ah, I see. No, didn't work. I'm looking at the pattern on the wall ahead of him. But it's not. I'm not going to memorize this. There's no way. Greetings, my child. Do not worry. I didn't leave you. I was merely behind this pillar the whole time. Thank you for trusting me. However, there was an important reason for this exercise, to test your independence. I must attend to some business, and you must stay alone for a while. Please remain here. It's dangerous to explore by yourself. I have an idea. I will give you a cell phone. If you have a need for anything, just call. Be good, alright? Alrighty. I think it's like asking me to leave the room, actually. I think it wants me to leave the room, because I'm not gonna just like stand around here and wait for an indefinite amount of time. Got a game to play here. I thought the pattern on the wall kind of would match some way, but maybe it doesn't. I don't want to stay in the room. I don't know how long they're going to be gone, and I've got a game to play. Enter button to see if there's something in here. There's not. Yeah. Thinking. Leave. I'm thinking leave. Give him. May give him. Yeah. Is this like? Yeah, I'm really. What happens if I come back? Because it's like, is the dude ever gonna come back? How do you call? Hello, this is Toriel. You've not left the room, have you? There are a few puzzles ahead that I have yet to explain. It would be dangerous to try to solve them yourself. Be good, alright? Click. Okay. Can I come back? Because I ain't waiting too long. Rivet, excuse me, human. I have some advice for you about battling monsters. If you act a certain way or fight until you almost defeat them, they might not want to battle you anymore. Monster doesn't want to fight you. Please. Mercy. Okay, so mercy. Playfully cranking through the leash, fills you with determination. HP fully restored. So you have save slots. Okay, nice. The ruins leaf pile. So that's a save spot. So what I did earlier was a save spot. I'm just hitting enter. Do all piles of leaves? Target. Close. Frogget. Check. Frogget. Life is difficult for this enemy. So I have to dodge this stuff. You're intimidated by Frogget's rostering. Only kidding. Frogget. Compliment. Frogget didn't understand what you said, but was flattered anyway. Deeply blushes. Ribbit. But it's still... Things reluctant to fight you. Lee? Okay. What do these piles of leaves do? Can't save again there. What do the leaves do? I'm just hitting enter to see what the leaves do. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, okay. Go in this way. So I have to... Wait, what? The Whimsun approached meekly. Act. Console. Halfway through your first word, Whimsun bursts into tears and runs away. You won. You earn 0 XP, 0 gold. So, hello, this is Toriel. For no reason in particular, which do you prefer? Cinnamon or butterscotch? And, oh, I see. Thank you very much. Click. Ring. Hello, this is Toriel. Do you not dislike butterscotch? I know what your preference is, but would you turn up your nose if you found it on your plate? Right. I understand. Thank you for being patient, by the way. Click. Three out of 4 gray rocks recommend you push them. Whimsun approached meekly. I'm gonna act. I'm gonna console it. Halfway through your first word, Whimsun bursts into tears and runs away. You won. You earned 0 HP. So, the pacifist way is kind of boring. But this seems to be the continuation of this game. I'll play a little more, but no, I didn't want to fight. What is this? How does this work? And continues to mutter apologies. You won. Okay. Going. And I'm gonna fall again, I guess. Or go that way. Nope, that's a wall. Yeah. Is there a save spot? Please don't step on the leaves. But how do I get out? A mold small blocked the way. But you wiggle your hips, mold small wiggles back. What a meaningful conversation. But it's still gonna try to attack me. Okay. To dodge burbles quietly. Imitate. You lie immobile with mold small. You feel like you understand the world a little better. Mold small waits pensively. I don't have any items to give you, dude. Sexy wiggle. Ah! Getting harder? Mold small is ruminating. Why can't I choose another option? Herbaceously attracted, but no brains. Can I act? Can I change my option? Having a little bit of trouble changing my option. Now I can. Flee. Don't slow me down. But how do I get out of here? Door here. It goes back up here, and I would have to find the path that I can walk on without falling. Basically. Yes, the next. And there's another frog. Going to compliment the frog. He blushes. Go on now. Don't attack me. Okay. Okay. I think that's enough. I'm getting bored with it. Just because I'm starting to get bored with it. Oh, I have HP. It might get better as you progress the story because a friend did recommend it. They said it was good, but that's enough for today, though. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I haven't seen any. The problem is that the story is too long for me to see any like branching narrative options, but we can see here that they have. That they have. Wait. Use my mouse now. That they have options here, and what option you choose determines whether you end up fighting this character. When I just flee, I'll just. I'm gonna go back to that room because I don't know how to get any further. Gonna run. Save. Please save. Thank you. Save. Yeah. Please. Go back to my room. Wait here, because yeah. So let me bring up those. Not a lot that we can get out of like, such a short amount of play on this game, but see what we can see. Guard. Okay, so Rose Thorn Bud is an exercise that we do that is a very, I like doing it this way because this is a great for any type of retrospective or review of anything. It's the method that I use to rapidly go through and analyze and critically think about an experience of any kind, whether that is whatever. So roses are for the things that went well. What was the highlight? What'd you like? And again, we base it on Pillars of Gaming UX. And We're not just, oh, what did I enjoy? You can do that, that's fine, but in our case here for UX for XR, we're thinking about it critically from a UX perspective. So roses are the things that went well. What are the things that are good? Thorns are the things that not so well. This is a low point. Buds are the opportunities. What we do differently. The branches, the options. Let's go through it. It is a retro game brings nostalgia to OG players like myself. OG gamers. And the reason that I like doing the post-it note method is because it is giving you very short and concise notes. You see I'm not even using full sentences. The reason that I do it this way instead of writing long dissertations is because it's a lot easier to take this information and then build it into whatever I want later. So, and it's, again, quick, simple, instead of writing a lot. So, I like that it's a retro game. I like the retro music and the visuals and sound fit the retro feel. The hand controls fit the retro feel. They took all of those elements. All those elements work well together. I like that there's humor, dialogue, and narrative. And I like that it is giving you have options to fight, talk, or flee. Have choices. Freedom in how you play. And what else? Let's look at some of these things. Science, feedback, clarity. I do have some things to say about. I like that it's multi-platform and cross-platform. Cool. Available on multiple platforms. I'm just gonna say that. And then that you can use a controller. Supports the controller. Okay. You know, I didn't try was my gamepad. I have a PS4 controller, but I also have a Razer Tartarus gamepad as well. I didn't try to see if that worked. I have a D-pad on there that it might have worked. But arrows are fine on this type of game. So Thorns, what did not go well? So it auto-played the story at the beginning. Story at the beginning. No option to start over or skip. So if you miss story, you have to wait for it to start again on its own. You can't restart. So that I don't like. I like being able to hear the backstory. Hear and see the backstory. That's something to think about. If this backstory, people do care about those things, it might be good to, whenever, because on load, when I loaded this directly out of Steam, it just immediately the story, the backstory. And if you want them to know the backstory, don't do that. Because for me, for the Steam version, I don't know how it is on the other versions, but Steam, whenever you open up a game window in Steam, there's a bunch of little like pop-ups that happen in Steam saying controllers are connected, keyboard is connected, blah blah blah. It's talking about all these things that Steam's doing. And those things, usually they're off in the bottom corner, so it usually doesn't interrupt anything. But with this game specifically, this game window is very tiny when you first open it. It's like tiny. And so all of those little Steam pop-ups are covering the story. So I missed part of the dialogue because it was behind the Steam pop-ups that you can't get rid of. So it would have been better if they had let me auto start once all those Steam junk was out of the way. And that's also a thing, Steam could pop-ups, please. But they do them for whatever reason. But I guess it's good to have acknowledgement that all your stuff's working, but when it's a game window that small, it blocks important info, so it would be better to self. There's a very, very old school option to hit start on your own once you load the game. There's a reason that's there. So if you miss the story, have to wait. This game window starts. Game window on Steam opens in a very small window, and very small, like very small, and it's like PS Vita small. So, and there's no option to resize it. I wish that I could, because I've got the PS Vita, which you can't share to screens because it doesn't have the hardware in there needed to do that. And then there's also, I have the Switch Lite, I don't have the normal Switch. So I can't share screens on those things because there are some really good games on that I could play on here that, or I don't want to pay the money for I already paid for it on those. So no option to resize the window until later in settings, like no, when you get to the settings options. So then no size, so then all of the Steam pop-ups cover the story dialogue, story text, several screens before they go away because it's so small. And so you miss, it makes you miss part of the story. Which was my problem when it first opened, so I had to wait for it to replay so I could read it. And then what was another thing that I didn't like? All of the controls were, I don't remember seeing tooltips once we got into the game. I'll have to go back and check the recording to see if there were any. All the tooltips were shown at once at the beginning. No memory cues during the game. That I noticed. Maybe there were some down at the bottom, but I didn't notice. So I wasn't always clear what is interactable. It's not a huge deal because it's a small, simple game, not a ton going on, so it's easy enough to just walk up something and hit enter to see whether or not it's interactable. But that there's a level of discoverability that people want in games to make. So the onboarding, I like that you have the options to flee, fight, or walk, but it gets a little tedious, monotonous after a while. Starts getting monotonous quickly, at least for me. Which makes me wonder, okay, how many people actually make it through playing this entire game passive? Because I'm tempted to find out what happened on the murder hobo side. I may play through this the whole thing and see how the different, probably will at some point, but not on stream because that I don't want. That might be boring for everyone else, unless you want me to play the whole thing from start to finish and try to get through all the branches. But I'm assuming that would be monotonous for everyone, as it was for me in the very short amount that we played. But it may get better because I'm not very far into it, of course. So it might get better as we go. But I can't stream all day. I have to get back to work. So there's that. But if you want me to play the game like on stream, I can continue playing it in multiple sessions. But let me know in the comments if that is the thing that you want to do, or if you want to go on to the next game, to the next one. So it starts getting monotonous quickly. Because the options, let me see why. At least on passive mode. Passive mode, you're gonna find an option that works and just keep doing that option. So you find the option that works on a specific monster, you keep repeating. Starts getting this quickly. So here, connect those together, because that I could just start trying with the other options, but I really don't want to. I'm like hardcore trying to do passive. Maybe that's part of the problem. Because I want to get the passive ending to see what happens with that one. But anyway, let's see. Was there anything else? I like that there are save points. Few save points. There's humor in the dialogue and narrative, and the signage. Like 2 out of 3 rocks recommend being pushed, or whatever that was. So Okay, so now with every thorn, we want at least one bud because we're not here to complain and vent. We're here to make things better. So we want to have at least one bud per thorn to see how would we make this better. So this one, at least one bud per thorn. It can be one bud that's is a solution to thorns, but you want to have at least one per thorn. It could be a follow-up and say, okay, I need to go explore this and see, is this really the case? Like, for example, on the rollers, I wanted to check something, at least as far as I saw. There was, so double check. So I would have a follow-up here to double check if there are any memory keys. I didn't see any, but I would want to double check that. So that would be a bud, a next step for that. To so it automatically plays the story at the beginning. Let the player initiate. The player initiates. Add an option to replay. And wait. Give them more control over it. Start, replay, and skip. Well, those are all saying the same thing, so I'm just going to do that. So the game window on the Steam is very small, no option to resize it till later. So one option is let them initiate the start, or at least for that. And then for rearrange these just to, let's see. The game window on Steam is very small. No option to resize the window until later. If you let the player initiate the start, that would, but what you could also do is just take that one screen that had all of the options on it and let that be the start instead of auto-playing the sort of switching story to after start and let them let the player set up language options first, because you don't get to the language options or anything until after you get past that first part of the story. So if your language is not English, if you speak Japanese, which is the other option, oh, that's another thing. Because they're gonna miss it anyway if you can't change the. So then that's another thing. So let me. I'm gonna do multiple things here then. So I'm gonna add that there, and then I like that. Supports multiple languages, and it also had the language in the native language. This is sadly a thing that was on another game that we played previously. I don't remember which one. It may have been Car Mechanics later. I don't remember. But in some games, and this is something I've come across in training and on websites too, is the language will be in whatever the language is currently set to. So the list of Japanese, Chinese, whatever, Spanish, whatever, will all be listed out in English. Whereas if it's not your native language, that's expecting you to know how to read your native language in every other language out there. So to make it better for the target audience, for the user, you put it in the actual native language. So like on Undertale, I hit escape. I don't remember how to exit, so all I know to do is to just close the window. So that's another thing. Another issue. I don't know how to get back to the beginning. No clear way of exiting. And then if the option was shown, if the control was shown instructions view, that was way at beginning, and I don't remember it. Oh, so I'm in the game right now. I can see. No, there are no controller tooltips here. It's a really long run. And you can't see it. There's no no tooltips, nothing. But of course, there's nothing to do right now. And I don't remember that, so never mind. Really long room. You interact with these things. Yeah, there's nothing. No, there's none. And there's no clear way of exiting, and I don't remember what the command, if there was one, to exit. I don't remember what. So I have to, all I know to do is close out the whole thing. So in here, there's no clear. So I did this follow-up, so no memory clues. Okay, there aren't any. So I did that follow-up. There's no clear way of exiting. I don't remember. So now I also want to talk about the language. The problem with the language here is that language options don't show till after backstory. So if you're in another language, missed the whole backstory. If not native language. And it's not clear how to go back and replay it once you have selected your language, unless you just let it sit there. Only way to restart backstory is to sit and wait for it to replay after selecting the language. If you want to see the backstory. That. And then no clear way of exiting. See, so all the tooltips are shown at once at the beginning. There's no tooltips in the game. All tooltips shown at the beginning include memory gaze. Ending. Let's during the game. Just do that. It's just better. And then you can learn more about tooltips and memory cues. Website. Not always clear what's interactable. Could be for discovery reasons. It's a simple game, ton of interaction. You walk up to something and click enter, but consider adding some indicators to things that are interactable depending on your goals, on the goals of your game. Then that ties with that one. And then passive mode, you find option that works on a specific monster, and then it's up to player, because of the freedom, choose what they want to do, if they want to fight or not. So it's up to them. So players can get into that habit, but then how do you get them out of that? I do remember that they had a little hint in there. They reminded you that, hey, you can fight them and still not kill them. Some interest. But need to make sure that the player is aware of that option. They do this if you talk to the frog at the room without permission. And then there's no clear way of exiting. So again, if we did this, and if we did memory cues, yeah, I'm gonna move this now because that ties in with both of those. So I'm gonna move this down here. This is another reason why I like doing post-its, because it's also very visual. I can quickly see. And you could also do this with a table in Excel. It doesn't have to be post-its. I just prefer visual. Still gets very boring. I need people. So blue tooltips and consider switching the story. Include memory cues and tooltips. So that's it. Just include the tooltips, memory cues, and if there's not, so then the follow up here would be see if moving it left. See if there's a way to double check instructions or exit. Let's see, is there a way to exit in game? Just annoying me. Arrow's not straight. I'm gonna make it noticeably off. Going being slightly off. Okay. And that's one bud for Thorn. So now if we were to think about this from an XR perspective, the applications would of course be, okay, so best practices. And those best practices would be memory cues and tooltips. Or I might have switched it to tooltips. And I know that I mention it in best practices. I don't know it in where else, but letting them initiate the start and stop of the is important because when you're in, maybe it's in external distractions. You need to give people a clear way of being able to initiate the start themselves because they could still be getting situated in their XR headset. If they're in a classroom setting, like in training, they could have a trainer in there with them talking to them. They could be in a meeting with somebody doing something collaboratively, and they have to have ways of starting and stopping and going at their own pace so that they can take all of that stuff in. There could be a family member, there could be a dog, something, anything could be distracting them. So that they're not losing that experience, give them ways to manually progress and go at their own pace. And then memory cues, language options. Don't forget, if you're gonna keep accessibility and language, this is going to be for everything. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Before you start, double check if there's exit options, include the memory cues in the game. Guidance and action. Guiding them through the game. onboarding, different ways of handling onboarding. The best way to handle onboarding is as they play. That they're learning as they go instead of doing a whole bunch of onboarding up front. Because even when you do the onboarding up front, I've learned this myself through designing and testing with humans, is that even if you have a good onboarding up front, they're still going to forget. So you have to include memory cues and stuff in the game to remind them how to do things. Anyway, so if you're going to have to do that anyway, why not just integrate the onboarding into the actual gameplay? And there are best practices for doing that. I don't think I've written any, but there are best practices for that. You can read The Gamer's Brain by Celia Hodent, and A Playful Production Process. The name of the person? Richard Lemarchand. There. Books like that I highly recommend for anyone getting into XR design. And yes, even though this is the whole point here, even though it is XR, what you're doing might be a corporate thing, it might be a collaboration thing, it doesn't matter. Play games because you learn from games. And if you want to be a good XR designer, you've got to put on a headset, play as many different experiences as you can, all different types, including games, and even play 2D games, because I learned very, very fast when I first got into VR design. I got on a team of people who had been already doing this before me, is we were constantly referencing video games, even though we were creating experiences for a Fortune 2 enterprise company. We were constantly talking about video games and talking about branching dialogue. So we were talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses. That is one that I would love to get on the stream, but I can't because it's only available on the Switch. And so I don't want to buy it on the platform here. So that one's an excellent example. That's the one that we actually used as an example when we were creating branching narrative for our training sims. So it doesn't matter if you're creating a serious simulation for a company, you still learn from games regardless. So play games. If you want to be a great XR designer, play games. If you just want to be a mediocre one, it's just copying what all the other ones are doing. Play games. Copy. Competition. But to do that, you have to wait for competition to be out there for you before you can copy. But if you want to lead, play games. But that is it for this one, and I will see y'all next time. And let me know your questions if you have any. If you're watching this on demand later and you have questions or comments, the whole goal of this is for y'all to do this live with me, do the Rose Thorn Bud together, because that gives you experience in this process, because this is a serious design process. I use this for work. I do this for work, for real projects. If you do this with me, you're getting experience doing this, and that is only going to help you when you go to get a job. It's not going to guarantee you a job, but it will only help you because you're getting actual experience on real stuff that is done on projects. So participate. I do check the comments. I do check LinkedIn. I do check comments. So give me your comments. Let me know what would you add or to this Rose Thorn Bud, and I'll add it here and I'll attribute it to you and be a part of this process. You will be a part of the get experience. So feel free to comment and do that. That's the whole goal, is so that you can gain experience doing this with me. The labs. So we're doing this together. And that is it for this week. I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for